What is going on, folks? Welcome back to another episode of Flyin Brown's Garage. In today's episode, we're going to be jumping into our mud mower build that I've been talking about for a while. So if y'all been staying tuned to the channel and watching OGs, any of that, y'all know about the Beast. Well, y'all will also know that I've been talking about building a Beast 2.0. Well, we're going to get into that today. So in the last video, I think it's the last video or second to last, I don't know how this is going to play out with ordering on the channel, but we did the General, Bandit, and the Sheriff mower. We kind of got them ready for winter, fixed the belt issues, fixed the brakes issues and all that stuff. So I had decided to raise the lift up so we had more storage. So as you see, the General's under there, the Bandit's up top, Sheriff mower's over here. Just a little update on what's going on here at the shop. Wife had picked me up some really cool signage. So yesterday we spent the day doing that and organizing all of our bolts, nuts, screws, washers, C-clips, other random hardware. It is all organized, and there's our last sign. But tools are all organized, parts are all organized. Now we have our hardware all organized, and it's all screwed up there with 2 screws. So all I got to do is take it off, get what I need, and then put it back up there. So I really enjoy a clean and orderly shop, and I know y'all say, well, it ain't very clean, it's got a dirt floor. Well, to me that's clean. You know, tools are in the place, at least the surfaces are dusted off. You know, don't have to be clean, but clean enough to conduct business and not be scattered. So now that we have our updated shop ready, let's go out, see what mower we're working with. We need to get a battery on the tow rig, get it out there so we can get this thing and pull it up to here and get ready to slap a trans in it, engine on it, wheels and tires, brakes, and probably going to do some steering work, but first gen Craftsman stuff. But yeah, let's get out here and see what we're working with and get this thing pulled up in the shop so we can get to work. Alright, this is a new project. A first gen LT1000 lawn tractor. The hood was removed for the Beast here. I wanted the original hood. If you notice, that color matches those fenders, but it's a little off from the color of this one, which is no big deal. I love the way that looks, just like that. But if y'all remember, we have a hood. It used to go on this one. Specifically that hood right there. The old Beast hood. Still has the lettering, still has the Jeep, still has the little front bumper on it, and the grill that I made, and FBG. We're going to use this hood. So this hood will be on the new Beast 2.0. We'll go ahead and drag it out in just a minute. We have an engine in the shop already, and then we also have a transaxle. Specifically in this, I've decided it's not going to be a drag mower. It is going to be a car show cruiser and pretty much a show stopper. So I'm just going to do an F&R in this one. We'll slight pulley swapped F&R like I did the sheriff mower. And we're going to take the transaxle out of this, which is a lock 6-speed, and we're going to put it in our new mud mower. So we're going to get this and this all up to the shop so we can get to work on getting transaxle out of the load mower and getting the F&R up in it. Then we'll go ahead and get the transaxle in this, get the engine on it, do a couple of modifications, and get this thing ready to be a mud mower. Alright, we got it lifted up in the air, and the first thing we're going to do is remove all unnecessary brackets and stuff. I'm going to come over here under here and show y'all on these first and second gens. They all come with front bracketry. We need to remove all that. We've got a belt guide here. Maybe we can get that out because it's kind of wedged. Not sure why it's wedged. Oh, there's a... Oh. There we go. So, yeah, we had some things in the way. It is going to need some stuff, pulleys and this, that, and another. But here's your brackets you want to remove. There's a pin up in here on each side holding these arms in, and they hold the deck bracketry up. So you take these pins out here, this will come off. You take that pin up there, that whole piece will drop out on both sides. Then there's a bolt and a bolt that holds these brackets on. A couple bolts up front with nuts that hold the brackets on up there. And then of course these to remove that bracket. But you do want to put these two bolts back after you take out this bracket because of you know, structural reasons. Of course, it's holding on your rear fender. It's holding on your foot panel there, and your well, it's holding your foot panel to your fenders and the frame. So I guess we'll go ahead and get y'all on the other camera. We'll go ahead and start pulling off brackets and stuff like that, and getting everything out of the way that we do not need. Also, you can pull this one off. This is the belt guide for the deck belt. That's a bolt right there, or a nut. It's a carriage bolt. So let's get all that removed, and then we'll focus on I don't know if I want to pull the center arm out yet or not, but we'll figure all that out here shortly. Alright, so we got all our bracketry off here, all that shit up in here, brackets on the front, side, they're all down there in a pile. I don't know, I may leave this for a break, it just depends. I'm not going to pull it off now. If I do decide to pull it off, I will do that later. Otherwise, I think what we're going to do now is go back out and get the other mower up here so we can get, here, we'll take this outside so we can get the transaxle out of it. And I've got some wheels and tires that I'm going to bring in for this, for the front at least. I don't have any ideas for the rears yet, but I do have some for the front. So let's go outside and get this mower up here. We'll hoist it up on the hoist out front and get us transaxle out. Alright, we got this thing drug up here, lifted up. We're just going to take this transaxle out in one piece, I think. I put a brace on this side. Oh yeah, there is indeed a brace on that side. Okay, so I've got a few bolts to pull. We'll grab us a jack, drop this out in one piece with the tires, wheels, and everything on it, and then I will just shove this back up in it, reuse those bolts, and then I've got some wheels and tires. Alright, we got our transaxle out. I thought I had welded the pulley onto the shaft of this one, but I didn't, and I'm so glad I didn't. The only thing I did do to this transaxle to modify it for this mower was I put these snapper spindles on it. And if anybody knows anything about snapper spindles, I can't take the cap off because it's pinned in behind the back, just like a wheels like on my truck. But this spindle has a bolt in it, and I had to drill it through the axle. So what I'm going to do is when I take all this off, we'll take the welder and fill in the axle where I drilled it with weld, and then we'll grind all that down back nice and smooth so it's doesn't have that void and it's still supported. And then we'll go ahead and put regular wheels and tires back on this thing. But we got that out. Let's get that in there real quick so we can get some wheels and tires on it, get it down, get it back to where it belongs. We'll work on that another day. Alright, we are done out here and cleaned up. Went ahead and drug the transaxle inside. Tow rig's put back in spot. Everything's cleaned up. Like I said, tools are all inside. We went ahead and got the locked F&R, locked and pulley swapped F&R in the rear, bolted right up. We also have 20 by 8 by 12s on there now, instead of the 16s that were on it. So it looks a lot meatier and a lot beefier, and kind of gives me a little more incentive to maybe work on this next. She can be a bad unit. I really want a V-twin or an opposed twin for this unit, but I may have to start off small, because right now I don't have one. So we'll get back to that later. She'll just sit there and naturally rust like it needs to, because what I want to do is I want it to naturally rust, and then I want to clear coat it. So yeah, let's get inside and start working on the mud mower. Alright folks, y'all may hear some wind noise. It is awfully windy outside today. Y'all can kind of hear it whistling and moving the tin on the roof little by little. But we got our axle in here, and I'm going to go ahead and get to work on this, because we could possibly build this out fairly quickly. Definitely need to find the seat, because of course it is seatless. Find a seat. I got a better steering wheel to put on it. Of course the hood. I think that's about it. Man, it is windy. Okay, well, here's our transaxle. Like I said, we are pulling these wheels off. We'll probably do that here in just a second. But we're going to go ahead and start prepping it to go up in the mower. Like I said, we got a little bit of weld repair to do on the axles. I'll probably drag it up to the other shop and do that off camera. But yeah, we are getting our parts together. I've got some front tires out in the back. I still got to get those. I think they have water in them. I need to get the water out. And yeah, we got quite a bit of work to do here. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so we got our wheels, tires, and spindles off of the axle. I did not realize I drilled it so far close to the end there. I thought I had drilled it further back on the axle. Apparently I drilled it here and here. I don't think I'm going to fill that. I don't think I need to. So, I guess let's go ahead and stick this up in the mower and see how it fits, which it should, because it came out of a Craftsman and it is a Craftsman, so we should be good. But let's go ahead and I guess try to lower this down onto it and see if I can't get her bolted up and sit in place. Alright, our transaxle is in place. I've got 4 bolts all the way around. I had to find some. This bracket broke off because it was welded and it was not in the right position. I did get this sides bolted up. 2 more bolts over here. Of course, we have our brake assembly still on this machine, and I'm very happy about that. So for now, what we're going to do, since our transaxle's in, is I have some let's see, I have some fat washers here. For some axle washers. And then I'll get us some clips. So we'll be able to put some wheels on the back and at least turn around and do some front end work. We've got a set of rear wheels and tires. I'm not using these tires on this machine, but I do want to use these wheels. They are going to be cut down to hubs, but for now we're going to use them as rollers and we're going to put them on. These tires I have plans for something else, but for now they'll go great on here as rollers. So I've got some washers and C-clips and everything to get the rear put together. Then we're going to flip it around, bring the front up. We're going to go ahead and install our front tires. Y'all are OGs to the channel. Y'all will recognize these tires as the ones that I had on the front of the tow rig. They already have 4-bolt hubs already made and should fit these axles. Also, if you're OGs to the channel, you should recognize these tires and wheels as the originals that came with the Bandit when I got it. So let's go ahead and throw some rears on it, turn it around, and throw some fronts on it. Work on the steering, maybe put a steering wheel on it. Get everything that needs to be taken off the dash, like this lever here. I don't want. I'm probably going to keep this for now, but this for sure I don't want. I do want a nicer wheel. We could work on getting the engine on and then getting the hood in place. Once we get the engine on and the gas tank hooked up, engine wired up, exhaust on, hood in place, all we'll really have to do is the pulleys, brakes, seat, and the rear hubs, cut them down, put wheels on, and we should be rolling with this unit. So let's get that done. We got our rollers on and in place. I know they are backwards. They're just rollers. I didn't really think about it until I put them on. I would have put them on straight, but I didn't have them on the right sides. I already had one on, wasn't looking, got the other one almost put on, and I was like, you know what, those are backwards. So I'm not switching them. Like I said, they're rollers. It doesn't matter. So what we're going to do is ignore the fact that they're on backwards, and then we're going to flip it around and start working on the front. Well, it beefed that right up. That looks good. Of course, it's gonna somewhat equal up to the rear when it's done width-wise, because they're a lot wider than what they were before. But let's go ahead and drag it further up on the lift, and we'll start addressing dash and steering and getting some of that out of the way. We got our steering disassembled here, but we need to find some kind of flat metal so I can make a bushing out of, because as you see, the steering is all over the place. There is a bushing for these, but they usually wear out because they're plastic, and I took the bushing off this for my customer. If y'all don't remember that video, it was a green home and country and yard, something like that. But it needed the bushing, so I took and harvested the bushing out of this for that one. So to make this a little sturdier, since it's a mud mower, not a lawn mower, we're going to make a metal bushing bracket for that, so to be able to ride in there. And then yeah, that is the plan. So I guess I need to find a piece of flat metal and start making a bracket. Alright folks, It's been a couple days. We're back on the mud mower build. If y'all want to see what we were working on, I will leave a link at the end of the video for y'all to click on. We did a will it run on a Craftsman T1600, and I wish it was a T1000, and that could be all like, you know, it's the T1000. Well, if y'all haven't watched Terminator, you won't understand. But last we were here, we got the wheels on the front and got this thing sitting up here. We also started to tear into the steering. We're going to go ahead and try to finish that tonight. I'm going to pull the tank off, and we're going to get to the steering, try to brace it up there a little better. Like I had said, we're going to make a bracket for this to run through and to bolt onto here, kind of like a metal plate bushing, and that should keep it in place. I'm hoping that I'll be able to use this box, but these first gen boxes are notorious for issues, and I already see a tooth missing. So yeah, there is a tooth broken off of that box, and we may be replacing this box. I do believe I have one. I think I have one out here in the scrap. Yeah, I do. Let me dig it out. It might be what we make our plate out of. Yeah. Let's see here. Yeah, there's a whole nother first gen Craftsman steering box, and that one is not missing teeth. So that may be the ticket. The only thing is this steering box is totally different from that steering box, because that steering rod has a nut on the end and this one does not. We may have to build a steering box out of two. That one and that one. So I think that's what we're going to try to do, is go ahead and build a steering box. Get that in, and then we'll do the plating out of this. It's like some 1/8 inch thick, maybe. But yeah, we can cut out of that for our plate for our steering. But yeah, I want to go ahead and rip the steering box out first. Get a good one built, get it in there. Hopefully it works, because like I said, these first gen steering boxes are not the best, but we'll try to see if we can get one that works decent, that'll actually turn these front tires and not snap off gears and jump gears and all that crap. And hopefully we can do so. And yeah, so let's go ahead and start tearing out a steering box. Alright, we've got our two steering boxes here. This is the one that came out, as you see, because it has the end on it. I need this rod. This is the one that I got outside, which has a better built system in here. You see the bushing, and of course the gear's in better shape. This bushing right here system is so this is the first gen. This is the first second gen steering box. And the first second gen is better than the first. I know that sounds contradictory, but I promise it's better. Okay, looks like we're impacting this thing. I've kind of got y'all on a mic here. Let me take it off. Okay. Let's see if we can't get this bad boy off here. It doesn't want to budge. So, let's see if we can't use old breaker bar to at least break it loose. Damn. Might need to try to clamp it in the vise and break it loose real quick. Alright, we took it over to the vise. Busted it loose. There it is. Damn, they don't want you rebuilding this shit. Oh. I know what I'm supposed to do. I gotta drive that out. Yep. That's exactly what it is. Okay. I guess let's do that real quick. I've got a hammer here. An extension. The only thing is, now I gotta make sure it's clocked right when I put it all back together, but it's all apart. So it's held in by a bolt. Alright. So I think it's a 3/8. It is a 3/8. And with the bolt out, you can pull all that off. Okay, I've never had one of these apart before. We will not be using this rod. Now let's just hope the other one comes apart as easy. It is C-clipped in there, so we'll take and pop our C-clip off. We'll put this side. A couple washers to the side. And we can drive this one out. Oh shit. Okay, so here's what I gotta do. Before I drive this out and go full Neanderthal, I need to clock this properly. So, what we're going to want to do is basically this. That's perfect. Now, I'm going to want to clean this surfacing off. Let's get a scraper. Oh, that's scraped. Get a rag and wipe that off. So what we're going to do, we're going to take our knife and make a gouge. Cock it back right, and we're good. So now, get all our parts from our first, second gen over there. Now we can work on the other one. So what we're going to do, we don't need these washers anymore, we're going to pop them in there. Our clip jars. Alright. Let's see if this one comes out as easy, or is it going to be a pain in the ass? I hope easy. I can already tell pain. Yeah, I might bust this one out on the vise. Alright, we got it busted apart. Here's the new shaft. Of course, it's a fucking Allen head. It's always got to be difficult. Let me get this apart on the vise. Alright. Got it busted loose on the vise. Okay, so that was actually not so bad. Okay. Hey, I think I may have just fixed the first gen steering box. Which would be awesome, since we need it. Alright, it goes in this way. Alright, we need to clock this right. Let's find our mark. That's it. Now we need to get our damn. Okay, this is going to be a little harder than I thought. That's the right clocking. Okay. We got it in. It's on. It's in the right position. Let's get it tightened up on the shaft. Or on the bracket. I think we got us a good steering box, folks. Let's get that reinstalled in the mower. Alright, we have got our steering all hooked up. Steering arms hooked up to the steering itself. Only thing we're missing is the plate we need to make for our plate bushing. Put our steering wheel and our collar back on, get everything buttoned back up, and it will look good again. We went ahead and scraped our surfacing here. Is that the bolt that I'm missing? That is the bolt that I was looking for. Damn it. Okay, well, we put the gas tank back on and I was actually missing a bolt, so we put some fatter bolts in there. They should hold with some washers. We also removed our engage disengage lever for the deck, and we removed our deck height lever as well. We also removed our plastic for our foot pads. I don't like the plastic because it just gets mud under it and then it starts to rot because you never get it out from under there. So I took those off as well. So at this point we are ready to make the plate and install the rest of our steering. Oh, also I found a switch to put in for our lights. Went ahead and plugged it in so it's wired up, and yeah, we're really getting somewhere with this one. So I don't know if we'll finish the steering tonight. Let me see what time it is. It's 8:34. I may just go in and edit for the rest of the night because I've got some cutting and stuff that needs to be done for that plate. And we'll come back out here tomorrow and get the plate on, get the rest of the steering components fitted onto the mower. Nice steering wheel to put on here. And then we can move on to maybe going ahead and getting the engine mounted, getting the hood mounted, getting the wheels done. I don't know. There's a lot of things that need to happen. I also need to find a seat. So tomorrow for sure I'd like to get the steering done, get a seat on it, maybe even get the engine on it. So I will see you guys back out here again tomorrow. Alright folks, it is the next day and we have already made our plate. As you see, it is drilled exactly, precisely to the size. There's just a little bit of play, not much, just enough to be able to maneuver the steering wheel nice and freely. So this will fit back over it, but I got to trim out a little piece right there, and then we'll put our steering wheel on and have that all done. Alright, our steering is done. That should be tight enough for the rebuilt box. We shouldn't have any issues, I am hoping. So I guess we need to find a seat for this thing and get that installed. Alright, we got our steering all put together and our seat on, just to find out that the steering box is trash. I had a feeling it wasn't going to work. These first gen steering boxes are trash. If y'all have ever gotten a mower with this, that actually had one that worked, I'm surprised. They just don't work. I mean, you can see it jumping. On the gears. I wish it was going to work, but that's not. We're going to have to locate a second gen steering component for this, or oh man, that's a lot of work. I was going to say I could convert it to the Murray steering like I did the Beast. And I do have that fan gear. So that's a lot of work. But the beast has such good responsive steering. The only thing is, I remembered I had an issue with the clutch on that steering that I made. It's a lot of thought to go into this. I might have to think about the steering. I'm not sure if I want to wait and try to find a second gen steering, or try to convert it to the Murray like I did the other one. So I won't be able to do the Murray steering because the axle on that Murray is 1-inch spindles and I've got 3/4. So that's not going to work. Yeah, I'm going to have to locate a second gen steering box. This thing will probably not be finished in this video, unfortunately. But what we can do, so I guess go ahead and mount our hood, get it in place, and oh, it's bent in, or bent out. Looks like somebody snatched it off. Maybe I'll see what I can do with a hammer to bend that back. It's a little better. Alright. I gotta think real hard for this one. Alright, so I was out there digging in the other shop for exhaust parts because we got the engine out. I was gonna fab up an exhaust and I found another box. Okay, found one that the steering shaft is cut off of, and I got to playing around with it. Well, I noticed something. So you see that has a square side and a rounded side. Well, if you put the square side butted up to it, it fits in there, yes. But if you flip it around and have the round side towards the gear, it sits in the gear more. A lot more. So I was like, well, I wonder if I have the one out here backwards. Well, just so happens it is indeed in there backwards. And I have 2 washers in between here, and I think what that's doing is raising this gear up too much and it's not engaging. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this all back apart. Now I'm not going to do it on camera, but I am going to do it because I'd like to see if I can get this steering to work and just use the first gen steering box. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to disassemble this whole thing again off camera. I'm going to take those 2 washers out. I'm going to bring this down further, and then I'm going to flip this around, and hopefully it engages that gear more and stops this jumping bullshit. Because if that happens, then we can actually get this thing to work. So let's take the steering gear apart and flip it all around. Alright, we took this box completely back apart, flip this around. As you see, the rounded side is towards the gear, with the flat side is supposed to be towards the edge, I noticed that there's a little indention where this thing sits in this bracket on this side, and I don't know why I didn't pay attention to that last time. So I noticed that there's a lot of distancing here. You see there's a clip in here, the C-clip right here where my fingernail is, holding this plastic in between this arm and this plastic. This plastic is cut out to be a bushing for this. It's a second first gen steering box, so they made the first gen and then a second first gen. So this had some spacing. So what I did is I came in through here and I added 4 flat small washers right here to push this gear over. And now I think I have successfully rebuilt a first gen steering box. Look at that. That is awesome. There's still some water in those tires. But yeah, we have steering now. So now we do not have to worry about getting a steering gearbox, and we can proceed on with what we're doing, which is good. So with that being said, we have our steering completely done. We have our seat on, our front tires and wheels and whole assembly is done except for hood and engine. So let's start getting our engine on, and then what we'll do after we get our engine on, we'll get our hood in place, and then we can start moving towards the back and underneath where it needs pulleys and all kinds of shit. But I'd at least like to get the top side done with engine, hood, and all that kind of hooked up, and then we'll move on from there. So let's get that engine up on that hoist so we can get it on the mower. Alright, we got our engine up in the air. I did have to go through this when we pulled it out. The box was broken, the little tabs that hold the stud on to hold the air filter in, and it was missing the cover. So I went ahead and put all that back on this engine. This engine is ready to run. I would like to change the oil real quick just to have a fresh start on this engine. I think I got some oil. I'll have to see. But yeah, let's go ahead and drain it and all that good stuff, get a new filter for it, and once we do that and find some bolts to mount this thing, we'll go ahead and bring this up and get the engine on. Alright, we got it back up, lifted up. Got the engine up there. We just drained our oil. I did find some oil, and I found a brand new filter that I had in the stash thanks to Mike, so big shout out to Mike. This was Mike's old engine for his mower too, so shout out for that guy. But yeah, I need to find some bolts that'll fit this bottom of this engine mount, and then we can go ahead and get it mounted on the mower there. Starting to become something. I'm pretty happy with it too. So yeah, let's find some bolts for this thing and then get her lowered down on the mower and get it put in place. Alright, we got our engine in place. It is bolted down. We're having to remove our drain tube because it is definitely going to be in the way of the tire. Just going to go ahead and put the bung in the side of the engine block down there. We're going to let that drip for a few minutes. That way when I go to pull that out of the engine, it don't get all over the frame. I'll probably put a rag down there too, just to be sure of it. But I'm going to go inside and take a break. This thing's really coming together. It's not, of course, the beast, because it's not a V-twin, and it's not, front end's not stretched out, and it doesn't have the you know, custom steering box that I built for it and all that other stuff, the custom rack in the back and all that mess. But it is going to be a version of the beast, and I can't wait, because it's turning out pretty good so far. Steering turned out perfect. Seat looks pretty good on there. I like the steering wheel on it. It really goes with the beefiness of the mower, and yeah, it really looks pretty damn good. Yeah, it's kind of got a newer feel, but it's not. It's old. That's one of the things I like. So we're going to let that finish dripping dry, and like I said, I'm going to take a break and then come back outside, and we will put the bung in the side of the engine, fill it with oil, and maybe see about getting the gas line hooked up to it, getting it wired up, and yeah, just seeing how much we can get done on this tonight. I got an idea for an exhaust. I may use part of an old exhaust and then run it into a muffler coming out the side. Alright folks, we're back on this project again for another day. So last night we got our engine stabbed, all hooked up except for the clutch on the bottom side. Fuel tank cleaned out, hooked up, seat on, steering repaired and completed, oil changed on the engine, whole bunch of stuff. So we came back out here again today. I went ahead and drilled a hole and hooked a spring in for our throttle return. But since we got a bunch of stuff done here, what I'd like to do now, I've already went and pulled off the brackets for the hood that I used to have on the beast, and we are going to go ahead and graft that onto here, drill some holes, put our brackets in. I had lost our rod that used to go across, so we're going to make a new one, and yeah, get the hood in place. Alright, there it is. Looks a little funky just because the axle's not forward and it don't have the front bumper and everything, because I'm so used to it being on the other mower, but it don't look bad. Don't look bad at all. Alright, well, we have a hood. Technically we have a whole body. Looks pretty good. I'm liking it. So now I guess we move on to what do we move on to now? Steering's done, seat's done. I guess we're moving under it. Let's do an exhaust. Alright, so I think we're going to wait for the exhaust because of the fact that, I'm about to be going to Mike's, and there was an exhaust for this. I may just put it on. Will be a lot less work, a lot less welding and all that stuff, and it did have a muffler on it, so that may be the route that I go instead of all of this, because that's going to be a headache and installing one would just be easier. So I think that's the route I'm going to go, and I'm going to go ahead and clean up here and probably head over there for just a little bit, grab a muffler and come on back to the shop and install it. Alright folks, we have returned, and we have returned with an exhaust. That is the exhaust and muffler off of John Man. Before we put the V-twin on it, it had this engine and that exhaust pipe, so it's just fitting that we put that exhaust pipe back with this engine. So let's get to putting on our exhaust, and then once we're done with that, maybe we can fire this thing up for the first time on its new home. Alright, we have an exhaust pipe in place, but it is not what we originally were going to use, because that one does not fit this frame. This one was off the John Deere, and yes, I know that looks like ass. Some of my first welding, ignore that. But this was on the John Deere that, if y'all remember, a while back, had donuts on the rear, and had a hydrostat with the bars from the, what was it, the snapper handlebars. That hood since went to Mike for John Man, but that's the exhaust off of it. And what I'm going to do is, if you see, it's kind of long, and we'll have to cut into the fender for the new wheels. So I've got it marked here. And as you see my markings, I got it marked here to cut that out and shorten it up, weld it back together. Here's my markings to keep it straight. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill a hole and put a bracket on here to get that up there. And then we have a muffler here that we're going to cut and weld to the end of the pipe. Alright folks, here we are with our exhaust. We got everything patched up, everything shortened. There was a couple holes I needed to patch, got all those patched, and we've got our muffler in place. So let's go ahead and get this transferred onto there. Alright, we have our exhaust mounted. Runs under, and then comes outside. I am going to raise that up. It's not mounted back here yet. I still need to get a hole drilled in that and get a bracket holding that up. Otherwise, it's coming along nicely. I sure am digging it. That's not going to be too bad at all. I'll have a quiet machine and I'll have a loud machine. Hopefully that's quiet enough. Should be. But yeah, there we go. Let's get that hole drilled and that exhaust hanger on so we can call the exhaust finished. Alright, it's on and in place. I've got the hangers on it. There's the hanger. There's the hanger. Got the exhaust, everything mounted. Only thing is I don't like how it sticks out. It sticks out too far and it's still too far back. So we have it marked out again to where we take a little bit more out of this, bring it together. And then we're going to take a little bit out right here to bring it in. So in turn it'll be a little further up on the foot pedal and it'll be a little more in. Otherwise I kind of like it and it's probably going to stick. I just want to get it a little more adjusted to where it's actually in the right spot. So let's do that. I'm gonna do it off camera and then we'll cut y'all back on when I'm got it all buttoned up. And there it is. We shortened it up both ways, this way and this way, so it brought it more this way and more back into the fender, and now it is where I like it. We got our hangers on, everything's tight, and we're good to go. So I just brought out a hot battery. We're gonna throw it in real quick, and I guess we're gonna see what this thing will do. Put some gas in it and see if we can turn it over, see if it'll fire up. Well, we got it to turn over, we got some fuel in it. Let's see what it does.
runner.
Alright, well, as you've seen, we have us a runner. Now to make it a rider, and we'll be good. Starts and shuts off with the key, so that is awesome. Now all we need to do is just get some pulleys up under it, get that situated, get a set of rear wheels and tires on it, a shifter, some brakes, and we should be good to go on this unit. I'll see you guys back out here again tomorrow. Alright, next evening we came out here today and we hooked up a choke, and it works. We also made a bracket. We hooked up a throttle because we found one, so we now have a throttle pedal, and we have hood pins. So hood pins, throttle pedal, and a choke. So what we're going to do is we're about to hook up a battery. Let's see if this thing will fire up again for us today. See how it runs with new throttle pedal and choke. It actually feels good. Like a dream. Wish had a belt on it, would go ride it. This thing ain't bad at all. I think it's got a little bit of an exhaust leak at the front. It's probably the flange. I'll probably change that out later. Otherwise, runs pretty good. That's a really good running engine. Heck yeah. And the key shuts it off. I like this mower. She's turned out to be pretty decent. See if it'll fire back up. I guess I don't like to start up without having some throttle on it.
may let it run for a little bit and warm itself up. See if that comes around.
Alright, the engine side of things is done. It runs, has a gas pedal, has a choke, has a key. It starts and shuts off with said key. And the steering's done. Fuel system's done. Hood's done. Seat's done. We got a battery in it. And the exhaust is done. So this whole top side of this mower is finished. The only thing we have to worry about, belting system and the clutch, shifter and back wheels. And it looks like after all that, we will have us a mower, a mud mower, converted mud mower. So let's go ahead and flip this thing around, get the ass end raised up in the air so we can take the back wheels and tires off again, take the tires off the wheels so we can go ahead and start prepping them to be cut down into hubs for our new wheels and tires to bolt up to. So let's do just that. Alright, a little struggling. That thing weighs a lot more than it did when we started. Front end definitely has some weight to it, I'm not gonna lie. So with that being said, we struggled a little bit, but we did get it turned around. It's a cool looking machine. I like it. For a conglomeration of parts, it's really not bad. Now we're going to go ahead and move on to our wheels and tires. We'll go ahead and take these wheels off of the mower, take the tires off the wheels, get the valve stem cores out of the stems so we can save those, and then we'll start chopping these wheels down for hubs. Before the video finishes out, I do want to say this is supposed to be a budget mower build, but I'm going to say this, it's only budget for folks who have the parts on hand. If you don't have these parts to throw together a budget mower, it's not going to be so budget for you. My budget is zero. A little bit of gas, a little bit of oil. That's it. Everything else is here that I had in the shop, in the parts, on old mowers, stuff of that sort. But that's how it's budget for me. I'm building it completely out of parts that I have on hand. Makes it a zero budget. If you have parts on hand, not these exact parts, but of course similar, you can build you a budget mud mower. But if you don't have these parts on hand, your budget may have to be a little larger. Say you may have to go pick up a mower on Marketplace. Say you already have a mower in the back, but you need wheels and tires and some welding wire and stuff to get started. Say you just need little parts like a hood, a seat, wheels, whatever. Yeah, budgets vary. So y'all remember that when I say this is a zero budget build. Just because it's zero budget for me does not mean it's going to be zero budget for you. So you need to check your parts, make sure you have everything, and go accordingly. You may have to open up that budget a little bit if you want the mower to be built with the parts that you want on it. Just saying. So with that being said, let's get our wheels off, get our tires off, and get those wheels prepped to cut down into hub. Alright, we got our wheels off. Now we just need to get these cleaned up and prepped. I may do that inside tonight and bring them back out here tomorrow. And then we'll continue on with the swap. We won't be needing those anymore. Alright. Well, I will see you guys back out here again tomorrow, the next day, with some clean wheels. I'll be ready to cut them down and get them ready for hubs. Alright folks, it is the next day out here. We got our wheels cleaned up inside last night, but these wheels are too big. The bolt pattern is too big to make hubs out of. I think I'm just going to do it like that, honestly. Weld them on. I feel like that may be my best bet. Alright, working on getting set up to weld here. We got our wheel centered. We're going to get our welder up here and start getting this all glued together. So we got our wheels welded. It is dark now, and I'm about to go inside. Actually, I was already inside, but I had to come back out here to get this little clip for you guys so I could do edit a video. But we've got our wheels done. They're all welded up all throughout every little like moon shape, I guess you'd say. I kind of got sidetracked because there's another mower here. Yeah, so we're probably going to have a new shop hand here in the shop for a little bit, and y'all will probably see him shortly in another video. But someone that I met at a car meet about a year ago, and he's brought things over here a couple times, getting me to help him with some things, and kind of just asked him if he wanted to help out around the shop, you know. And yeah, so probably gonna have a little bit of help around the shop. And yeah, so he brought this over, and he's pulley swapping this for himself as a race mower, which is awesome. So I've been helping him with that, and we've been working on that most of today. If y'all want to see this, I will be doing a very short video on this. Not one of our long usual videos, but you know, something short to show you what we're doing, because we're doing it kind of quick. It's going to be a quick, easy, cheap pulley swap using most of the original parts. So if y'all want to see how to quickly pulley swap your mower, and it's a very drive, so it's not going to have a speed variation anymore. It's going to be just like, you know, sheriff mower, or yeah, sheriff mower, where it's just F and R, but it should be pretty fast. So if y'all want to see that, be sure to check it out. And what we'll do is we'll put some tires on this tomorrow and get them up on the mower so it's not sitting like a, you know, Carolina squat idiot mobile. And then yeah, then once we get the wheels and tires on it, we can start focusing on you know, pulleys and clutch and all that good stuff, because it's going to need a couple things under there. Need an engine pulley too. So yeah, a lot to think about. But I'm gonna go inside and edit, and we'll see you guys back out here again tomorrow, where we will be, you know, installing some wheels and tires. I hope this gives it the stance that I want. It should. So let's hope. Alright, so I've been working on this all day. We have our tires on. These are not the ones I wanted to use, but the other ones are on the town car, and I don't feel like taking them off. I also didn't want to cut all of the fenders out. I kind of wanted to leave some. So I like that look a lot better. So we might stick with the same size tires and just find some mudders later. But for now, we have a set, and I think it's going to sit level. I think if I put the same size tires on it, I think it would actually sit too high in the rear. So let's get it off the lift and see what it actually looks like. Alright folks, we got this thing on the ground. I did a little work off camera here for a few minutes because of the fact that I didn't want to put a whole bunch in this video that's just repetitively showing me lower it and raise it and lower it and raise it and move it and blah blah blah. So I went ahead and did that off camera. When I got it on the ground, I did notice that the little tips here touched the tires, so I actually brought the grinder out and I rounded them out towards the end. I cannot believe I cut that with a grinder, but I did. It actually looks good and it matches. Both sides match. So we got that. We also went ahead and installed the dry box. This was torn off the tow rig before we replaced it with the two giant ones. So we have a dry box for, you know, storage and stuff. I think this thing looks good. It sits level. I think I chose the right size back tires, even though they are not mud tires. I'm a little disappointed in that, but hey, I didn't want to cut out the whole fenders on this one. I wanted to kind of do it a little different. So the cutting out the fenders takes out the structure of the fenders. So I'm thinking here, with what I got going on, I'll probably try to find a set of mud tires around that size. But for now, we'll run those. You know, they're better than skating on rims, wheels, or whatever you want to call them. I call them wheels, but it looks good. I dig it. I hope you guys like it. We'll probably come out here again tomorrow and raise it up and get up under it, hook up some brakes and start configuring pulleys and stuff of that sort, getting an engine pulley set up, and then really the only things I want to do to it is eventually I'll want to put a tow hitch on the rear. So basically what we're going to do is this is going to be set up for a mud mower, but it's also going to be set up like the old tow rig that I sold, the red one. If y'all are OGs to the channel, y'all know which one I'm talking about. The red DYT 4000 that I took from a hydrostat 14.5 single cylinder to a 17.5 high performance single cylinder with a locked and pulley swapped MST 206. And that little sucker was speedy. It had a hitch on the back that we pulled the trailer that we actually bring mowers home on, and we used it to pull stuff around the yard. If y'all want to check out some of those videos, they are back in the videos a while back. It's been a while since I filmed that. I think it was like a year ago or so. But we're kind of going to go that route with this. That way it'll be good for fun, but I can also use it for a little bit of work. And I don't want to do too crazy with the build. I'm not going to build a rack on the back like I did on the Beast. We're just going to do a nice clean mower look, so it kind of still looks like a mower, but it's not too extremely modified. You know, we've got our exhaust dump out here, we got our box over there, choke, of course, we got our gas pedal, but we'll have our shifter up through here. Steering's all fixed. We will patch this hole. I'll take and cut a patch panel out of something and just rivet it on, and maybe eventually get some lights in this thing, and she'll be one cool rig, at least in my opinion. Maybe even eventually a decent little front bumper, and then yeah, should be good to go. So like I said, I'll see you guys back out here again tomorrow when we will keep plugging at this thing and get it just a little more further to being out there on the trails and doing a little work around the shop. I got it turned around this morning and put up on a lift. I had to run around and air up some tires that were flat around here at the shop, and now we are back on this. So what I want to do is I want to get a decent sized engine pulley here, and we need to locate one so that way we can fab one up. And then I need to find a V clutch pulley, and then I need to find an idler. So and I don't know if I'm going to need more idlers other than just that. I do know that I hope I have a belt that will fit this. We will have to see. But let's go ahead and find us an engine pulley first thing. I know it's kind of hard to see. There we go. Let's go ahead and find us an engine pulley, and yeah, get all that buttoned up. So all we got to do is worry about the clutch and the idler, and then we'll have us a belt system, find us a rod, hook us up some brakes, and yeah, then we should be able to run and ride this thing, and I'm excited about it. Been getting a lot of love off Instagram on this one, which I'm surprised. This is a fucking throw together with probably some of the worst parts I have, but it seems like people like this one. It's strange, but I really do like how I cut the fenders out in the rear. Oh man, it's much different than the Beat, as you see. Much different. Much different, and I like it because it's kind of it's a beast version, but it's not a copy. It's different, and boy do I like it, and I hope you guys do too, because this is like I said, it's just a throw together budget mud mower. But you know, who says you can't make something look cool on a budget? Need to save them old car tires, guys. I'm not saying save the ones that are shit and don't hold air, but you know, if you got some that you're taking off your car, your truck, whatever, that you know are decent. I mean, it might be not good for the road anymore, but it may be good for a mower. So I'd save them. And a lot of times, if you take your stuff to a tire shop, like I know a lot of people do, they actually charge you to dispose of your old tires. So if you keep them, you'll actually save a little money, and you'll have tires for a future build. So let's find some pulleys. Alright guys, I got us an engine pulley, and I am working on finding some other pulleys, but we also found us a belt that will work. We're going to need 3 idlers, 2 flats, 1 V. The V is going to be for the clutch, and yeah, let's hope this works, but that's the plan. So I'm going to try to find a few more pulleys. Hopefully I have them, and then we'll go from there. So here's what we got so far. We got our engine pulley on, bolt in the bottom. We've got we found a V pulley for the clutch, technically a V idler, V clutch pulley, whatever. Also found a flat idler. I need 3 more pulleys. I need another V to go in this area to push this back. I need another flat to go up here and kind of hug this, and then another V to come back this way. A lot of people say you can't put a real small pulley on the rear if you have these, because of the shifter that goes up through the middle. Well, technically they're wrong. You can. You have to kind of space your belt out around the shifter. So what you can do is you can come back here and build a frame to bring your belt out, and then have a V idler on each side, or a flat idler on each side, to bring your belt back in like so, and like so, and then you would have room for your shifter. So don't let people tell you you can't do that. They're wrong. You can do anything you want to, anything you put your mind to. So 2 more V's, 1 flat. I'm gonna look around, see if I can't find that, but for now we're at a standstill. So I'm gonna see if I can't find the parts, and well, tomorrow I can hook up the brakes at least. But yeah, I'm gonna see if I can't find our parts, hopefully within the next couple of days, and get this thing finished up. So I will see you guys then. Alright guys, so it's the next day. We did find a couple pulleys. Got to thinking last night. There's actually one more on that. So right now I'm waiting on Reagan to get here. He's bringing his mower back over. We're going to finish it. So if y'all want to see another video on his mower, y'all be sure to check that out. We're going to be doing the exhaust, brakes, gas pedal, and a couple other little things. It'll be a very short video, kind of like the pulley swap video. But like I said, y'all be sure to stay tuned for that. Like I said, 2 out of 3. We might not get a V pulley like we need, but as you have seen in the past, I have used flat idlers as V pulleys, and typically what we do is use the one with the biggest rim on the end, because as you see, this one's a little more shallow, this one's a little deeper. So we got all that together. We'll be getting back on this later on tonight. Looks like Reagan is here, so we're going to get off this and then get to work on his stuff, and we'll see you later on tonight on the beast. Alright folks, next day. We were going to get back on this last night, but me and Reagan worked mainly all night on his mower. One of the coolest exhausts I've ever made, ever on the history of Flyin Brian's Garage, was on his mower last night. Y'all need to go check out that video. It is such an awesome setup. It's a Briggs single cylinder with a homemade exhaust pipe that runs from a single to a dual and dumps out both fenders. So it comes out here and here. Oh, it's cool. It's so cool. Y'all be sure to check that out. There's pictures on the Instagram and the Facebook. There's also a whole video, short video on it on the YouTube. I think it's the last video we posted. Y'all be sure to check that out. It is one cool exhaust. And if y'all ever want to do something like that, it'll kind of give you a tutorial on how to tackle it. So, where we left off on this, we left off with the pulleys. And we can't see shit under there, so that's perfect. Let's get a light. And there we go. So, we got engine pulley, our clutch pulley, and an idler. And we're going to put 3 more idlers in here to not only tighten this belt up, but give it the trajectory that the belt needs to go to. Also, not only clear the shifter in the back, but to give a good, nice, tight belt system to where I have no belt jump. So, with that being said, we have 2 pulleys here. One bigger idler, one smaller idler. Unfortunately, I cannot find any V idlers. It is all flats. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this one as a V because it has the deepest pulley. So yeah, we're going to use that. And we should have some help on this today. Reagan said he's going to come over after work, and he wants to hear this thing run and probably ride it. So I think he's going to come over and give me a hand. So for now, I'm going to go ahead and get started on what I can, and we'll wait for him. And who knows, I might even be done with this thing by the time he gets here, or I might not. We'll see. But I'm going to go ahead and set y'all up on the other camera, and we are going to get to work on some pulleys. And then the last thing we need to do is a shifter and the brakes, and then we can ride this thing. Alright, so I need to bring pulleys down in this area. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a brace across to hold them. So it's going to be this is the centerpiece, and then I'll weld these two to the ends to drill out and then bolt in. I'm going to do all that off camera. And then once we start going back to our pulleys, I'll put y'all back on a speed clip and we'll keep installing. I'm hoping to be done with that today. Shifter and the brake linkage. And then we can ride this thing. Alright folks, so I was working on this earlier today, and the wife calls and says she had a flat tire. The key for the locking lug nuts were not in the car, and she didn't have a way to get the tire up, so I had to go out there and fix it, bring it home, and all that good stuff. So we kind of got delayed on some things. We were going to work on we got a new project in. If y'all know MOWER diesel, we have his exhaust here all the way from upstate New York, and we are going to be redoing it. So I needed to get to that tonight, and that also kind of got screwed from having to go play rescue tire man. But what we did do is I got pulleys in place. I got some things repositioned. I did find another pulley. So we got this plastic flat idler or V idler instead. And that's a smaller one, so perfect. I repositioned this one because the clutch was actually smacking this, so instead I swapped this one with that one back there. So this one's smaller and belt wraps around here. Of course V, and then it goes around here, goes around this one. And I know this isn't a V pulley, but right now it's all I got, so it's just it. If you're that picky, don't look under the beast. And then we got this one, and this is a V idler. I know it has a couple holes in the bottom of it, but what the hell ever. We got this one in place. We also got us a shifter in place, but we need to kind of cut some of this out up here to help it work some. It kind of has a weird positioning, and in turn it kind of doesn't want to. You know what I could do? I could just cut that, lay it, and then weld it. I may do that instead of cutting this up here. But we got that done. We're also going to be fabbing us up a brake rod threaded on the end and the little clip on this side. So the only thing is we do need a belt for this. I don't have one, so unfortunately I'm gonna have to kind of find a belt, but hopefully we'll be able to find one. But at the moment I am going to work on this a little bit tomorrow, and then work on MOWER diesel's exhaust. So yeah, tomorrow what we'll come in here and do is we'll fix the shifter, do our brake rod, get all that together. So all we really need is a belt, and we'll be able to ride this thing. So I will see you guys back out here again tomorrow on this project, where hopefully we will be almost done, and to the point where we just need a belt, put a hot battery in it, put a little bit of gas in it, ride out. So I will see you guys tomorrow. Okay, folks, it's the next night. We're back on the beast here. I actually spent all day putting together Wheel Horse Diesel's exhaust, and there it is, all said and done and beautiful. I'm happy with it. So we just finished up with that video. We're about to jump into this here. Last thing we did was we figured out that our belt was shit and we couldn't use it, unfortunately. We have idlers in place. We have a clutch pulley up here that's been replaced with that one down there. We have that pulley that was I put down there originally, and then we ended up finding out that that pulley there was too big to be there because the clutch would smack it. So what we did is we swapped them out and put a smaller flat idler there. I got a flat idler there, flat idler there, V idler there. That's supposed to be a flat idler, or a V idler, but it's a flat, just whatever. And then we got our pulley swap back there, and of course our engine pulley swap. So what we're looking at right now is we did our shifter last night, but I thought that this design was going to be good, but I realized that it's actually not far enough forward. So the other the beast back there, the original beast, so the pin goes through here and it comes forward and then it goes up. So apparently with this the way it is right here and just going straight in, it doesn't have enough forward movement to kick that over. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to take our new shifter off and reconfigure this. So what I want to do is I want to come in here, cut this off somewhere like right in here, right in there, and then we'll weld a little shaft coming out, and then we'll weld this directly to that shaft on the end that comes out, and then it should be enough to be able to give us our swing for our shifter. I hope it doesn't hit any of the pulleys. That's my only worry. So let's get this one figured out, because yeah, I can't wait to have this thing moving. I need to figure out the shifter, and then we're going to do a brake rod for this tonight, I hope. Get that all situated. So then all we really have to do is get a belt, get a battery, get some gas in it, and we're good to go. Got a belt. So we're actually going to try to go ahead and get this in position. Go ahead and get our idlers tightened down that we need to get tightened down, that we had to get loose. Because yes, I have the same setup. I put my idlers so close to the sides that I will definitely have to take them off to take my belt off. So don't feel left out. We're all in the same boat. But yeah, we got to redo our shifter angle real quick, because I decided that I'm not going to cut that hole in the panel. I would rather redo the angle of my shifter and actually have it the right way. So we're going to do that. That way y'all will know exactly how to build a homemade Craftsman Gen 1 shifter for the Peerless and the Spicer transaxles, the 6 speeds. Some of them have 5, some of them have 4 speeds, but yeah, same concept with a shifter, just, you know, not the same amount of speed. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get the belt put in position, see how this thing fits, and hopefully it does, because I did get a size smaller. And yeah, once we get that done, we can get our shifter done, and if we can get to a brake linkage and get that all fixed up, and we'll be good to go. Alright, I think I cut the camera on after we put the belt on, but I cannot remember if I haven't. There is our belt, and it is the right size. So we went ahead and modded our shifter more. That did turn out to work perfectly. I don't know if we needed to do that, but we did it anyway. It looks like the mower itself was kind of locking the transaxle in place, so I shook it a little and it finally broke loose and shifted. I should have known to check for that, but I didn't. But that is no big deal. We got it all put together, and now at this point we're just about to work on a brake rod. Alright folks, we got her off the lift. She's sitting down nice and pretty looking for, you know, a conglomeration of shit that I had. But yeah, it's good. I hope it's got, like, see,
I thought this transaxle was a 6-speed, but you know, it's only going to 5, so either I have a 5-speed or I have absolutely no reverse. But you know, we'll find out tomorrow. We got the brake rod in place. It's down there. You ain't gonna be able to see it because it's dark, but just take my word for it, it's down there. And she's sitting here, so all she needs now is a hot battery and some fuel and someone in the seat and send it. So yeah, we're going to take this thing out tomorrow and see how she does. Folks, it is the next day. We've already loaded up. We're actually headed out to Reagan's house. We're going to go ride. I've already tested this thing out today. Works great, actually. I do have reverse. So there's that. Put a hot battery in it. Got an extra battery with us. Got full tank of gas. Got some extra gas with us. We should be good. So we're going to go ahead and get out there and see what he's got to ride and see how this thing does for the day. I caught a little air there. I was just kind of looking at everything.
Yeah.
I don't think this thing's the happiest right now.
Mine isn't either. Those slipping pretty bad.
This tire's going flat. That tire's okay, but I notice when I sit on it, I'm almost cutting into the tire. I think I am. Oh, I am. Yeah, right there. Oh man, this thing is death wobble bad. That's insane. What a machine though. She's actually doing it. Yep. Alright folks, well, as y'all saw on camera, it is definitely a Jeep. It is a shit box with death wobble, and I haven't flipped it yet, so we're good there. But yeah, it definitely has death wobble, as y'all saw on camera. So she's definitely a Jeep. So it was named properly. But otherwise, it's doing pretty good. I am losing some air out of this tire here, but it's not a huge leak, so it's okay. And it is beating me to absolute death. But other than that, I'd say she does pretty damn good. So I'm happy with it. And I'm probably going to cut the video here because I know we're at 2 hours already. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed building this and thrashing the shit out of it.
Alright folks, I hope you enjoyed that video of me putting together this mud mower and thrashing the crap out of it. It did not turn out perfect. The wheel leaks. I don't know how that's possible, but there is a little small rust hole in the wheel, and apparently it is thin enough to where it is leaking. So I'm going to try to weld it shut, and if not, I don't know. Maybe JB weld it. Hell, I don't know. But it's just, I guess it's going to be a beater. I kind of was wanting a beater, and then I was like, you know, maybe this will be a good mower, and it looks good, and blah blah. And then I get it together, and it's pretty good. It's not bad, but like the other one's better. But I put a lot of time into that one, so I'm probably just gonna beat on this one. So, but for a budget mud mower build of $0, it's pretty good. Actually, $25 went into it, let's say. So, a build. $25 mud mower build. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Be sure to leave a like, comment down below if you have any questions. Check out the Adventuring Brian YouTube. The link is in the description. So is the one for the gaming channel. If y'all want to go show it some love, it's not moving yet, but we're gonna get it there soon. And yeah, be sure to follow us on the Facebook and the Instagram, and check us out at Flyin Brian's Garage Mud Race Mowers. You can come join the group, share your builds, anything with an engine really. And yeah, let's get that moving too. So I guess we're gonna move on to a new project, and I'm not sure what that's gonna be yet, but I'm gonna figure that out while I am editing. So y'all be sure to subscribe, hit that all notification bell, that way you're notified every time I put out a new video, which is every Monday and sometimes periodically during the week. And if you want updates every day, Facebook and Instagram. So with all that being said, we will see you guys on the next episode, where I don't know what I'm going to be doing yet, but it should be good.